command switches. As well as supporting both point and line codes, DTM map also supports the use of command switches, which can be attached to line and point codes to create an effect. A list of these can be seen in the help menu. Under field coding, feature command switches reference. So here we can see a list of all the available command switches with the command shown in the first column, and then whether it can be used as a point or a line. Also a brief description of the effect that this has and a little example. It's quite an extensive list you can browse through. So back to DTM maps. So the first example is the use of the start line. So here we can see we have a line coded UGL to denote an undergrowth line. Now looking at the codes of the line for the grid, we can see that the line is drawn across the road, which is not correct. So by adding a command switch /ST to this point here, we can now see that the line starts from the code with the /ST, which denotes the start of a new line. Another command switch we can use is to scale a feature. In this particular case, a point feature coded as a tree. So the code PT is defined in Features Manager with a default size. So here the surveyor has put a dimension on the tree. So by using the command switch /S for the size, we type in the diameter in meters. And there we can see the tree is drawn to the correct size. Another command switch we can use is one for surveying square objects. So here we have an example where we have surveyed a manhole cover. In the notes it says it's square, and we have the two diagonals surveyed. The first point has a start to denote the start of a line. So on the second point we add the code DSQ. So the software automatically generates a square based on two diagonal points. We can also use this on rectangular features. So we have an example here. In the notes it says we have a rectangular BT cover with 3 points surveyed. Now the first 2 points define the length of the cover, and the third point denotes the width. So adding the command switch CSQ, press F11, we can see we now have a rectangular feature drawn. So once again, the first 2 points define the length of the feature, and the third point denotes the width. Around this BT cover, in the notes here, you can see we have a concrete surround being surveyed with 4 points surveyed, with a start on the first point. Now to draw the fourth line to close the line, we attach the code CL, which denotes closing a line. You can also use a command switch to denote curve fitting around a series of points on the line. Here we can see an access road with points surveyed around a curb, a channel and the back of footpath. At the moment it looks a bit like a 50p. So what we do, find the first point on the line where we believe that the curve should start, and add the command switch STCV, start curve fitting. So that's the curb. We do the same with the channel line, STCV, and also on the back of the footpath. And then we also need to denote where the curve fitting shall end. So for the channel line we add the command switch ECV, end curve fitting. The same for the curb line, and also for the back of the footpath. And now we can see a nice smooth curve drawn around the line. We also have the tape command, which we can use to add hidden points that are awkward to survey, which is used to draw in dimensions from a baseline. So a good example of this is here we have a building line, B start, and then another surveyed point on a building line where the surveyor has put in some dimensions to show a recess in a building. Now to add these points in, we can use the tape command, which is /TP, then we add a plus, and then we can enter the dimensions. So the first dimension is to the right of the baseline, so we use TR and enter the dimension in meters. Then we also have a dimension that goes left, so plus TL, and the dimension once again in meters, 4.6. Press F11. And we can now see that's our last surveyed point. So we've added this point and this point, and then the next point on the line is the next actual surveyed point. There's no actual points generated, it's just shown in DTM map, so you can't actually click on the points.